Hey guys, this video is a practice test on general questions on the topic fever, and it includes 20 questions with answers and with explanation wherever needed. So do share your score obtained in this practice test, and without wasting any time, let's get started. So the question number 1 is, a fever is known as hyperpyrexia when the body temperature rises above option A more than 40.5 degrees Celsius, B more than 40 degrees Celsius, C more than 41.5 degrees Celsius, or option D more than 41 degrees Celsius. So the correct answer is option C, more than 41.5 degrees Celsius, or you can say 106 degree Fahrenheit. All right. Now, question number 2 is, what is the correct decreasing order of temperature measurement in body? So, as you know that the temperature of inner body parts is obviously more than the outer body parts, and the three areas which are given in the option is the rectal and the oral and axillary. So obviously the rectal temperature is more than the oral temperature, which is again more than the axillary temperature. So the correct answer here is option number A, rectal more than oral more than axilla. All right. So next question is, a fever which has periodicity of 24 hours is known as A. Quartan fever, B. Relapsing fever, C. Tertian fever, or D. Quotidian fever. The correct answer is option number D. Quotidian fever. That is, the quotidian fever has periodicity of 24 hours. That means the fever that occurs daily is known as quotidian fever. And what about the other options is, quartan fever is the fever in which the fever occurs, as the name suggests, the fever occurs on the first and the fourth day. Relapsing fever, actually relapsing fever is a broad term. It includes all the other varieties mentioned in the option like quartan, tertian, quotidian. All these varieties are included in the relapsing fever, which means that fever has a febrile period which is separated by a febrile period. Okay, so that is a relapsing fever. And the tertian fever is the fever which occurs on the first and the third day. All right, so next move on to the next question. Question number 4 is, temperature pulse dissociation occurs in A. Bell-Epstein fever, B. Saddleback fever, C. Drug-induced fever, or option D. Typhoid fever. So first of all, what is temperature pulse dissociation? See, normally what happens is, whenever somebody has fever, so with every 1 degree rise in temperature, the pulse rate increases by 10 beats. So normally this happens, but if this is not happening, that means increase in temperature causing decrease in pulse rate, then that condition is known as temperature pulse dissociation, or it is also called relative bradycardia, because the pulse rate is getting down. And this type of temperature pulse dissociation is seen in option D, typhoid fever. All right, and this condition is also known as fidget sign. Okay, so the next question is, question number 5 is, step ladder fever is seen in option A, typhoid, B, dengue, C, Hodgkin's lymphoma, or D, factitious fever. So first of all, what is step ladder fever? So it is a fever that rises on one day and then falls another day and continues to form these peaks and the troughs with insidious onset. All right, so this type of fever is seen in option A, typhoid. All right, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 6 is, malignant tertian fever is caused by option A, Plasmodium vivax, option B, Plasmodium falciparum, C, Plasmodium ovale, or D, Plasmodium knowlesi. So the correct answer here is option B, Plasmodium falciparum. Now question number 7 is, glandular fever is caused by dash and is also known as dash. Option A, Ebola virus causing African hemorrhagic fever, B. Sabia virus causing Brazilian hemorrhagic fever. C. EB virus causing infectious mononucleosis. And D. Coxiella burnetii causing Q fever. See, all these options are correct in themselves. That is, Ebola virus causes African hemorrhagic fever. Sabia virus causes Brazilian hemorrhagic fever. EB virus causes infectious mononucleosis, and likewise, Coxiella burnetii causes Q fever. So what is the correct answer here? So we have to see which of these condition is also known as glandular fever. So the correct answer is option C, that is glandular fever is caused by EB virus and it is also known as infectious mononucleosis. All right. Now the next question is which of the following is not an hemorrhagic fever? Option A, fever caused by Ebola virus. We just read in the previous question that Ebola virus is an hemorrhagic, causes hemorrhagic fever. Option B is yellow fever. It is also hemorrhagic fever. C, Pontiac fever, and D, dengue fever. And as we all know that dengue is also dengue hemorrhagic fever. We all know that. So the correct answer here is C, Pontiac fever. Now the question number 9 is sites for measuring core temperature are following except A. Oropharynx, B. Tympanic membrane, C. Distal esophagus, D. Pulmonary artery. So here I am just giving you a mnemonic to remember the 4 sites from where the core temperature is measured, and the mnemonic is do predict temperature nicely. So what we interpret from that is do, that is distal esophagus, from P is the pulmonary artery, from T is the tympanic membrane, and from N is the nasopharynx. So in the options the word nasopharynx is missing. They have written oropharynx. So the correct answer is A, oropharynx. All right. So the next question is body temperature is controlled by, so this is a very simple question. A. Thalamus, B. Hypothalamus, C. Pineal gland, or D. Cerebellum. So the correct answer here is B. Hypothalamus. Alright. Next question. Bell-Epstein fever is seen in A. Typhoid, B. Lateral sinus thrombosis, C. Dengue, or D. Hodgkin's lymphoma. So the correct answer here is D. Hodgkin's lymphoma. And why it is called so? So it's like other conditions in the medicine that we know the discoverer, on the name of discoverer these names are kept. Like, so this condition was first observed and published by Mr. Epstein and Mr. Pell, so it is known as Bell-Epstein fever. Alright. So the next question is infectious mononucleosis is also known as A. Kissing's disease, B. Desert rheumatism, C. Glandular fever, or D. both A and C. So in one of the previous question we have read that glandular fever is also known as infectious mononucleosis and its other name is also Kissing's disease. Why so? Because this disease spreads by saliva. Alright, so the correct answer here is option number D, that is both A and C. Now the next question is relative bradycardia is present in all except. So by now you must have understood that what is relative bradycardia is, and the correct answers, I mean the condition in which relative bradycardia is not present is the, what is that? A. Leptospirosis, B. Brucellosis, C. Typhoid fever, or D. Hodgkin's lymphoma. So the correct answer is D. Hodgkin's lymphoma, because in all the other conditions relative bradycardia is present. Alright. Now question number 14. Its picket fence fever is seen in A. Hodgkin's lymphoma, B. Lateral sinus thrombosis, C. Infectious mononucleosis, or D. Leptospirosis. So first of all, what is picket fence fever? See, it is a type of fence which is used for domestic boundaries, as you can see in the picture I have put here, and it has the evenly spaced vertical boards which are known as pickets and which are attached to horizontal rails. So what happens in this type of fever is that its clinical picture is marked by spiking fever, just like these pickets. You see the spikes here, right? So it is marked by spiking fever due to the periodic release of septic emboli from the infected sinus thrombus. So, the correct answer here is option B, lateral sinus thrombosis. Alright, let's move on to the next question. It says, what is the sequence of febrile and afebrile period in Pell-Epstein fever? So, you just go through all the options, and the correct answer here is option number B. That is the fever lasting for 3 to 10 days followed by afebrile period of 3 to 10 days. Alright. And the next question is, with every 1 degree Fahrenheit rise in temperature above 100 degree Fahrenheit, the pulse rate increases by, in one of the previous question I mentioned about this. So the correct answer here is option C, that is the 10 beats. Alright. Next question is, break bone fever is the other name of A, Pell-Epstein fever, B, saddleback fever, C, step ladder fever, or D, typhoid fever. So the correct answer here is break bone fever is the other name of B, saddleback fever. Alright, and this is seen in dengue. And option B, Pell-Epstein fever we see in Hodgkin's lymphoma, stepladder fever we see in typhoid, and D is the typhoid fever itself. So the correct answer here is B, saddleback fever. Okay, so the next question is, double quotidian fever is seen in A, Kala-Azar, B, malaria, C, tuberculosis, D, lymphoma. The correct answer here is, okay, so first we understand what is double quotidian is. So quotidian we have understood in one of the previous question that the fever that occurs daily, that has periodicity of 24 hours, is known as quotidian fever. And what is then double quotidian? That means the fever has periodicity daily, but it spikes twice in one day. In 24 hours it has spikes of 2 times. All right, and this type of fever we see in Kala-Azar. Okay, so the next question is, rash appears on which day in case of measles? It's day 1, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or the 4th. So the correct answer here is, in measles, rash appears on day 4. Alright, so I am just giving you a mnemonic to remember the days on which rash appear in different types of fever, and the mnemonic is, very smart people must think during trouble. So that is from V, that's varicella, that is chickenpox, in which rash appears on the first day. From S is the scarlet fever, in which rash appears on the second day. From P is the pox, that is the smallpox, in which rash appears on the third day. From M is the measles, rash appears on fourth day, as the question was there. And from T is the typhus on 5th day. From D, dengue on 6th day. And from T, typhoid or enteric fever, rash appears on the 7th day. So just memorize that. That will help you a lot in such kind of questions. And the next question is, with every 1 degree Fahrenheit rise in temperature above 100 degree Fahrenheit, the respiratory rate increases by A, 1 to 2 per minute, B, 2 to 3 per minute, C, 3 to 4 per minute, or it's D, 4 to 5 per minute. So the correct answer here is option B, 2 to 3 per minute. Alright. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. And that's all for today. We'll see you again with a new set of questions on a new topic. And do share your score obtained in this practice test. And just take care, stay healthy, stay safe. Goodbye.